I just spent 6 months analyzing over 5,000 football matches across the Europe's top 5 leagues, and I found something that the bookmakers absolutely do not want you to know. What I'm about to show you will change the way you look at football betting forever. There are patterns hidden in plain sight that bookmakers exploit every single weekend. Patterns that make them billion while you lose. Most bettors have no idea this exists because bookmakers don't advertise them. They don't want you looking for them. But I found them and I'm about to show you. By the end of this video, you'll see exactly how the bookies manipulate the market, the data that proves it, and how you can use it to your advantage. Let's dive in. Let me tell you why I did this. I was tired of losing, and I was tired of all the experts that only show their wins, right? So I decided I'm gonna analyze everything. Every match, every league, every result. I wanted to find the truth. No bias, no cherry picking, just data. Here's what I did. I pulled data from every match in Premier League, Bundesliga, La Liga, Serie A, and Ligue 1 over the last 3 years. That is 5,247 matches, more than 200,000 data points. I tracked final scores, fixture congestion, home and away form, betting lines and movements, public betting percentages, sharp money indicators, and match outcomes against the spread. I was looking for patterns, repeatable patterns, not one-off flukes, not Arsenal always beat Tottenham. I wanted statistically significant trends that happened over and over time again. Patterns that bookmakers exploit and patterns that we can exploit. And I found them. 4 major patterns that repeat hundreds of times across all the 5,000 games that I analyzed. Let me show you. The midweek European trap. This is the most profitable pattern that I have found, and bookmakers know about it, but they don't adjust the lines enough. Here's the data. Teams that play European football during the week, so Tuesday, Wednesday or Thursday, and then play on away during the weekend, the matches they're playing on weekend is 287 to 193, going under 2.5 goals. That's a 60% hit rate. Why? Fatigue, travel, rotation, you name it. The manager will rest up some key players, the intensity will drop, goals will dry up. But here's the thing, bookmakers know about this. They see the data, so why don't they adjust? Because the public doesn't care. They see Manchester United and bet over because Manchester United always score, right? The line barely moved, and the sharp bettors, they clean up. Here's an example.
On 26th of November, Real Madrid went to Greece to play Olympiacos Piraeus. Now the match finished 4-3, and then just 4 days later, on 30th of November, Real Madrid were playing away against Girona. Now, the odds on over 2.5, well, you can see it, 133, right? Everybody was playing the over because it's Real Madrid, they just played 4-3, there's a lot of goals, but can you guess how the match finished? That's right, it was 1-1.
That happened 287 times across all the data that I pulled in. The expected goals over performance trap. This one is sneaky, and it's how bookmakers bet casual bettors. Expected goals, or XG, measures shot quality. A team's gonna score 10 goals, but their expected goals was 5.0. They are overperforming. They're getting lucky. Here's what I found. Teams overperforming their expected goals by at least 0.5 goals per game over the last 5 matches, they always regress in the next 5 matches. 241 out of 291 times. That is 81%. Why? Well, because the low chances goals, they just don't sustain. 30-yard screamer that goes in, that's a 0.03 expected goals probability. And eventually, the luck is gonna run out. Regression to mean happens. But bookmakers don't adjust fast enough because the public sees Team X scored 12 goals in the last 4 matches and bets them anyway. The sharp money, they're the ones who are fading them. Let me give you an example.
In November 2025, Nottingham Forest had 3 games in a row in which they all scored 3 goals, but their expected goals number is way lower than that. So what happened in the next 3 games? They scored only 1 goal in total.
The data simply told you this was coming. When everyone bets one side. This is the pattern that makes the bookmakers the most money because it happens every single weekend. Here's the killer stat. When more than 75% of public money is on one team, that team is only gonna win 48% of the time. That is worse than a coin flip. I have found 412 matches where more than 75% of people bet on one team. The result? They went 198 against 214 in those matches, losing money. Why does this happen? Well, because the bookmakers shaded the line. Let me explain. When they see that 80% of people are betting on Manchester City, they don't panic. They make the City's line even worse. They move the line from -1.5 to -2, and they're saying, you want City? Fine, but you're getting worse value. And casual bettors keep betting it because they don't understand life. line movement. Meanwhile, the sharp money, well, they're on the other side. Let me give you an example. Liverpool versus Brighton. 82% of bettors bet on Liverpool to win. The line opened -1.5. It was moved to 2.5 by the kickoff time. Final score, Liverpool won, but only 2-1. So Liverpool won, but they didn't cover their spread. They didn't win by 3 goals. So the bookmaker won, public lost, and this happened 412 times. The end of season motivational trap. This one only happens in April or in May, basically by the end of the seasons, but it is a gold mine. Here's what I found. In the final 10 matches of the season, teams that have nothing to play for, which means that basically they can no longer get either promoted, relegated, or they're not in any cups, and they're playing the teams who are fighting either to stay in the league, to fight for Champions League spots. The motivated team wins 67% of the time. 127 matches out of 189 matches. Why does it happen? Well, because football is human. A mid-table team who are 12th, they cannot get either promoted or relegated, and it's the end of the year. They're on vacation mentally already. Maybe the manager changes. Players are already done with the season mentally, but they're facing a team that's fighting for a Champions League spot. Well, they're extremely motivated. Every point matters for them. Every point is life or death. The intensity gap is just massive, but bookmakers, they price it like it's a completely normal match, because the teams' names look equal. Let me give you an example. It's the final day of the season. Wolverhampton, who are 12th in the league, they have nothing to play for. They're fighting against Newcastle, who, if they win, they qualify for the Champions League next season. The bookmaker is gonna set the line -1 for Newcastle. But it seems a little tight, right? Why would they win by more than 2 goals? Final score of the match? Newcastle won 3-0, because Newcastle needed it. Wolverhampton just didn't care. This has happened 127 times in my data. So why don't bookmakers fix this pattern? It's very simple. They do not need to. 97% of bettors or more don't even look at this data. They bet with their gut. They're gonna bet on their favorite team. They're gonna follow a hot tip from Twitter or something. And bookmakers know this. So they price the lines for the public, not for the sharp bettors. And they make billions. Here's how you can use it. Every weekend, check which teams played in Europe midweek, which teams are overperforming their expected goals, where is public money going more than 75% on only one side, and who has motivation, who doesn't. That only applies for the late season though. If you find a match where 2 or even 3 of those will overlap each other, that is not betting anymore. That's called edge. Most bettors lose because they're guessing. They think betting is about, is Arsenal gonna win? It's not. It's about, does the current line represent value based on all available data? That's the difference between gambling and invest. This data, this is how you invest. 5,000 matches, 4 patterns, hundreds of profitable opportunities, and bookmakers don't advertise any of it. Now, can you track all of this manually? Sure, but it's gonna take hours. Every single day. That's why we build ODDSIK. It's an AI that analyzes all of these patterns across the 5 top leagues in real time, and it finds the matches where multiple patterns overlap. We launch January 28th. Link is in the description. Betting without data is gambling. Betting with data is investing. You just saw 6 months of my work in what, 10 minutes? If you found this valuable, hit the like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. I'll keep making these. And if you want the AI doing this daily work for you, there's a link below. Thanks for watching. Now go find some match. Peace.